Oh, hi friends! Today I'd like to share with you a true story about a man who lived right here in the United States. He used his imagination, some creativity, and a box to do some things that forever changed his life. Come along with me and let's go into the internet and take a look at his story. Today I'm going to share with you the story of a man named Henry Brown. Can you say his name with me? Henry Brown. You see, Henry was the kind of guy that grew up on a very large farm. I mean, the farm was so large that they had chickens. Can you make the sound of a chicken with me? They even had pigs. Can you make the sound of a pig with me? Oink, 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 oink. And they even had horses. Can you make the sound of a horse with me? And they even had cows. Can you make the sound of a cow with me? Ooh. Henry was a very hard worker. Every morning, even before the sun was up, Henry could be found out in the field picking cotton. And then when the sun was in the high noon sky, Henry would grab an axe. Do you see the axe?
Yeah!
Very good. Henry would use the axe to cut down the big, huge trees. Can you cut with me? And the trees would fall, timber, crack. And then Henry would grab a saw. Do you see the saw?
Yeah!
Very good. Henry would use the saw to cut the wood from the trees into pieces. Can you saw with me? But at the end of the day, Henry was always very sad because the people at the farm were so cruel to him. They never paid Henry any money for all the hard work that he did. One morning, Henry had a very bright idea. Would you like to hear his bright idea?
Yes!
I thought you'd say so. One morning, Henry thought to himself, boy, I bet you I can run away from this cruel farm. And so it was that Henry packed a few of his belongings together, and he threw them over his shoulder, and off he ran. When Henry was almost to the edge of the farm, someone said, "Henry, is that you?" Poor Henry had gotten caught. He turned around and said, "Yes." They said, "Henry, get back over here." Poor Henry had to come all the way back to the cruel farm. And do you know what they did to Henry for trying? They made poor Henry pick more cotton, cut down more trees, and saw even more wood. Poor Henry's life had gone from bad to miserable. One night, as Henry was in the bed, about to go to sleep, he got another bright idea. Would you like to hear his bright idea?
Yes!
I thought you'd say so. Henry decided that he was going to mail himself away from this cruel farm. When Henry told his best friend his idea of mailing himself away in the mail, his best friend said, "Henry, that's foolish. You can't fit inside of an envelope. You know, the kind of thing that you put a letter inside of." Henry said, "No, I'm not going to mail myself away in an envelope. I'm going to mail myself away in a box. A box that's just the right size for me." And that night, Henry and his friends made a box. They made a box that was not too large nor too small, but just the right size for Henry to fit inside. Now, Henry thought to himself, if I'm going to go away on a trip, there are some things that I'm going to need to have to take with me. What can I fit inside the box? So it was that Henry packed some crackers. Do you see the crackers?
Yeah!
Very good. And he put them inside the box. Then he packed something to drink, probably some water. Do you see the water?
Yeah!
Very good. And lastly, he only had space for one more thing. Henry decided to put in a pillow. Do you see the pillow?
Yeah!
Good job. And so it was that Henry had his crackers, his water, and his pillow. And he got inside the box. His friend moved his box at the right place for the mailman to come and get it. At the right time, the next day, the mailman came to pick up all the mail. He grabbed all the letters, and then he got the smaller packages. Next, he went to the small boxes, the medium-sized boxes, and then the large boxes, including Henry's box. He put it on the truck, and off he drove. For not one, but 2 whole days, Henry had to stay inside the mailman's truck, as quiet as a church mouse, careful not to make any noise so that no one would know that he was inside the box. When the truck finally stopped, Henry listened very carefully to make sure it was safe to come out. He poked his head outside of the box, and sure enough, it was safe to come out. Henry looked around outside, and he said, "Yes! Can you do it with me? Yes! My plan has finally worked." Henry was able to mail himself away from the very cruel farm where the people there didn't love Henry nor respect him and didn't pay him any money for all the hard work that he had done, to a brand new place where the people loved Henry. They would promise to pay him a whole bunch of money for the work that he did, and they even changed his name. No longer did the people call Henry Brown, but they changed his name to Henry Box Brown. Can you say it with me?
Henry Box Brown.
Boy, what a phenomenal story about an extraordinary man who was able to use his creativity and imagination and a box to mail himself from the very cruel farm to a brand new place where the people loved and respected him. Friends, do you think that you'd be able to mail yourself away in a box? I don't think I could do it. My mom and my dad would miss me. My friends would miss me. And I would have to be awful brave. You know, it's really sad that the people in Henry's day didn't love him and respect him for the man that he was. They didn't like him because he spoke a little different and his skin didn't look like theirs. You know, friends, we really need to be careful to be kind to those around us who look different than what we do. Boy, maybe we can learn a lot from Henry's story. You know, you can find the Henry Box Brown story online, just like we did. Or you can travel to your library, and your librarian can help you find books on Henry Brown. I think you'd like to take a look at them.